Hey everybody! I'm here today to show you how to cut PVC pipe. This will be an easy tutorial for making a perfectly straight cut on a piece of PVC pipe just like this. Let's get right into the video. I'm going to be outlining different methods to do this, but I'm going to be demonstrating one specific method. So let's get right into it. First and foremost, you want to measure your length and then make a mark on the PVC pipe. A lot of people try and do this without making a mark, and it rarely works out well. So you're going to go ahead and measure and make a mark. I'm just going to go ahead and pretend to measure and make a mark. This is just a spare piece of pipe that I had left over from a project, so I figured that I would use it. So I'm going to make a mark right here on the 7-inch marking from the edge right there. So 7 inches. And I like to make the mark on both sides of the measuring tape because it really gives me a good idea of where that line is going to be. So as you can see right there, we've made the mark. Now at this point, many people actually will just take a reciprocating saw, a Sawzall, and they'll just slice it down. And that is a quick way of doing it, but it does not produce a straight cut. Okay, it works, but it doesn't produce a straight cut. Now, on the other hand, what a lot of people do if you have the equipment for this is they end up using a chop saw, okay? And they end up using a chop saw, and that gets a straight cut, but it's hard to find a chop saw that's big enough for a piece of pipe this size. So what I like to do is a very simple method, and it doesn't involve any chop saw or any power tools, so you can do this anywhere without an electrical outlet, which is great, because if you're using PVC pipe somewhere where you don't have access to power, this is a great method. And to get a perfectly straight cut, I actually use one of these rings right here. So what I do is I take the ring and I slide it over the PVC pipe just like that, okay? And I place the ring basically where the line is. And this ring, when I tighten it up like this, will actually create a perfectly straight wrapping around the pipe. So as you can see, I'm just going to line it up like that with those lines. Right there, I'm going to go a little bit further back just so I have enough space for the saw. And I tighten it up really nice and tightly so it's not going to go anywhere. As you can see, I've created a perfectly straight line now around the pipe. And it doesn't have to be cut exactly on this line, but that's my guideline. And it prevents me from making too much of an angled cut. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to grab just a standard handsaw. I'm sorry about the view. I'm going to reach over here. It's actually under the tripod. There we go. So I'm just going to grab a standard handsaw just like that. What I like to do is I like to use a standard handsaw to make this cut. So I line up the handsaw on those lines and I get it perfectly straight along those two lines. You want to really get it perfectly straight, and I just slowly start cutting. And here's the benefit of a handsaw. When you use a Sawzall or a reciprocating saw or any aggressive power tool, it's going to slide around. Whereas when you use a handsaw like this, I'm able to get a really clean, nice, straight cut. So right now, as you can see, I'm just making my line, okay? Now I have my outline, so now I can speed it up a little bit, just like this, all right? And now I can start cutting. Now, granted, the downside of this is that it takes a little bit longer. I'm just gonna put my foot here. There's some snow outside, so my foot's a bit slippery. It takes a little bit longer. However, the result is much better. So you're gonna have to bear with me. It does get much faster once you're already into the pipe, but at the beginning, you want to take your time and work really slowly because you're going to be getting your line. But once you have your line, so now you can see I have that line right there. You can probably see that I have that line right in there. So now what I can do is now we can go faster, just like that, more aggressive on that line. All right? So right now, as you can see, we're already through this part of the pipe. It does go much faster once you're in there, and if it wasn't so slippery, it would be better. I'd probably put it on the floor and cut it. But bear with me, because you're going to see the result is going to be incredible. So as I cut through it right now, really giving it some force, okay? I'll give you an update in 1 second here. Just like that. So as you can see, the line that I'm getting is unbelievably straight, okay? If you wanted to at this point, you could even take off the metal piece and continue, but I'm going to leave it on. But you could take it off because you're going to be getting a straight line at this point for the most part. So I'm going to leave it on though. Continue cutting. Now I'm going to start working the angles here. A bit more. All right, so what I'm gonna do now that I have my line is I'm just gonna take this and I'm just gonna loosen it. We're gonna take it off. Now, like I said, you can leave it on by all means, but I'm trying to save time. I don't want this video to be super long. What I'll do is I'll actually just bring it back ever so slightly so I can still use it as a visual guide for where I am, but it's not gonna be getting in the way of me cutting because my cut is so straight that it ends up hitting the piece of metal there. So as you can see, it is really, really straight now. Now we can just go ahead and cut right through it, just like that. There we go. And the beauty of this method is that also, you're gonna burn some calories. That's a huge plus of this method right over here. All right. We're almost through. We're getting to the end right here, just like this. Now it's very important at the end to make sure that you are cutting right through. You're not snapping it off. So, just like that. There you go. Look at that. Look at this. Look at how clean and straight that cut is. Okay, let's take off this little piece right here. Now, like I said, some people use different kinds of power tools. But I find that the best way is to just use a handsaw like that. You can use a power tool, but look at that. Look at this. Look at how straight. Look at that. It is perfectly straight. Okay, literally perfectly straight. If you want a straight cut on PVC pipe, that's the way to do it. You can use a different kind of power tool. Of course you can, but to get a perfectly straight cut like that, this is my #1 method that I choose. It takes a bit more time, but if you want to get it this kind of straight, that's how you got to do it. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down below as a comment. And of course, be sure to subscribe for more great videos just like this one. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.